blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's time for the Nick B Podcast. No co-hosts, no filters, and no telling what the hell will come out of his mouth.
That's what I love about this guy, Nick.
Now, here's your host, Nick B.
What is going on, everybody? It is time once again for another blah, blah, blah with Nick B. And this is my official podcast. You're going to hear some banging and some knocking around because when I'm not in the studio, I don't have studio quality equipment. I mean, I've got a good microphone with me, but it tends to pick up a lot more than I want it to because it's not designed like the mics that I have in the studio. The mics that are in the studio are a little bit better quality, and they don't really pick up every little bang on the broadcast desk and everything. I mean, it's got to be pretty massive for them to pick it up. Anyway, it is February 4th, 2026, and this is Blah, Blah, Blah with Nick B. Now, I was talking on Nick's Take about how Billie Eilish got up on stage and basically regurgitated an old saying that nobody is illegal on stolen land. And the thing that's funny about that is where her house is currently situated and located is actually land that was known, or that's owned, land that did belong to one of LA's tribes. In fact, they are known as the First People of Los Angeles. And they have reached out to her to see if she's going to be willing to turn over her multi-million-dollar property to them, which of course she's not going to. I mean, this is the whole thing about the left liberal argument. And again, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. I am an anarchist. I am an anarchist with conflictions because I don't believe in true 100% totality of anarchy. I believe nobody has the right to tell me how to live my life. That's it. Just like I believe nobody has the right to tell you how to live your life. But, and that's pretty much the anarchy philosophy that I tend to subscribe to these days. Now, back in the day, I was full-blown anarchist and was like, yeah, you know, fuck the police. Let's not have any law enforcement. Let's not have anything like that. We don't need laws. Let us govern ourselves. And then I started seeing things like at an early age. I think I was like 14 or 15 when the LA riots happened. And then later as an adult, the BLM riots and things. And it's like, you know, maybe we do need some police officers. Now, I don't agree that the police should be armed as heavily as they are now, because this is how I understand the Second Amendment. When it says shall not be infringed, right? It's a whole thing that came from their creator. It came from God. It's not that the government grants us the rights. It's that God does, and that we restrict the government from taking those rights. And it seems like they want to arm police officers, and to that degree, even military personnel and federal officials. They arm them better than we can arm ourselves. And I don't think it was ever intended to be that way, nor do I believe it should be that way. Because if the federal government fears its people, you have freedom. If the people fear its government, you have tyranny. Do you fear your government? Because sometimes I do, especially when you have a president that says he can use nukes. Like, he didn't explicitly say that, but he said, how are you going to defend against F-22s and nuclear weapons? And that's when things start to get to a point where it was like, yeah, we've given them too much power. Like, according to like the founding fathers, like how can we reel this back? And there really is no way of reeling it back. I find it comical that all these people are now screaming about ICE having too much power and having too much control. It's a federal agency. I've been screaming the police have too much power since the riots in the 90s, the LA riots in the 90s. Because shortly after that, I believe there was a bank robbery, and the people that did the bank robbery had automatic weapons. This is the entire reason American citizens can no longer buy fully loaded weapons, fully automatic weapons, I should say. And it's because the police were outgunned in LA. Several of them died, which is a tragedy. But at the same time, why didn't LAPD have the exact same weapons? You know what I mean? Like, because people for some reason seem to believe that because they put on a badge or because they serve in the FBI or they serve as the president's liaison, whatever the case may be, they serve in federal government or they serve in local government, they believe that they're somehow better than us. And that's not how it is. It's a representative government. They are people that just so happen to work in those places. Like most of the police logos or slogans, I should say, are to protect and serve. They're supposed to serve us. Now, I'm not talking in the sense of like slaves and, wait on us hand and foot kind of stuff, but they are supposed to serve the people. When is the last time you thought the police really served their people? I mean, that's really where we are now, and it's really kind of sad that the entire country has gotten to this point where they believe that police and federal people should have higher caliber weapons than us. Why? If they've got the fully automatic weapons and we don't, why do they need them? Because obviously they're not going to be able to match, we're not going to be able to match them firepower to firepower. Why do they need them? That's the question you should ask. But the Native American tribe whose ancestral land, Billie Eilish's Los Angeles mansion, has something to say about her Grammy virtue signaling when the singer declared, quote, "No one is illegal on stolen land." They said, quote, "As the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin, we do understand that her home is situated in our ancestral land." A spokesperson for the Tungva tribe, if I'm mispronouncing that, I do deeply apologize, but y'all know I'm horrible with words sometimes. The Tungva tribe told this organization, noting that the singer had not yet reached out regarding the ownership rights of her $3 million Hollywood Hills home. Eilish has not contacted our tribe directly regarding her property. We do value the instance when public figures provide visibility to the true history of this country. It is our hope that in the future discussions, the tribe can be explicitly referenced to ensure the public's understanding that the greater Los Angeles basin remains Gabrielino Tongva territory. Of course, the 24-year-old singer has been mocked and called a hypocrite ever since spouting her leftist talking points during the award show on Sunday night. "As grateful as I feel," she said, "I honestly don't feel like I need to say anything, but that no one is illegal on stolen land. And then she followed it up with, "Fuck ICE," is what I really want to say. Social media commentators have been pointing out the hypocrisy of Eilish's statements, saying, quote, "You cannot simultaneously believe that 1, all borders are fake and should not be policed, and 2, that land can be stolen. This is one of the most brain-dead beliefs a person can hold." Another person wrote, "Oh, gee, this stolen land nonsense again. Maybe she should step up and forfeit her Southern California mansion since it's supposedly on stolen land," is what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said. This isn't the first time Eilish voiced opinions that got mocked. In November, the singer called Elon Musk a fucking pathetic pussy bitch coward for not giving away more of his money to her preferred causes, saying, quote, "If you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but yeah, give your money away, shorty." That's what she said at the time. And of course, she was continuously mocked for that because she sits on a net worth of about $50 million or somewhere around there. And this is going to come off, and I don't like these shows being political, but whatever. This is going to come off as being kind of, I don't know, like a shut up and dribble kind of a moment. And I hated when that was said because that did demean LeBron James when Megyn Kelly said that. I believe it was Megyn Kelly that said it. I'm not trying to, put it on anybody. If she didn't say it, I apologize. But whoever it was that said it was like, shut up and dribble. And that was a very distasteful statement. But when you're in your 20s, your early 20s, I don't really think you should be talking about politics because especially when you've lived such a, for lack of a better term, such a privileged life where you've never really experienced anything outside what you're constantly doing. I mean, she has been famous since she was like 14 or 15, which means she's had a world view completely different than the actual working people. She grew up kind of in a weird household anyway, like an artsy-fartsy household. But the fact of the matter is, she hasn't lived the life that the average American has lived. And that's the part that gets me. It's like, you're not going to college. You're not experiencing these things that the average American is experiencing, that may be talking about it, that may be her same age, right? And it's like, just shut the hell up. Like, to have the nerve, and this is something that is a uniquely left idea, that somehow you should be punished for the wealth that you accumulate. If you work for that money, this is where my anarchist views come in. If you work for that money's yours. Nobody has the right to tell you how to spend it, or that you should be ashamed for having it. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that people actually try to make people feel bad for what they've worked to get, going days without sleep, going days without pay often. In fact, Elon has amassed his wealth because he didn't pay himself, and he was working sometimes 85-hour weeks with his companies. And now that the companies have taken off, they've gotten, some government contracts here and there. They've gotten all of these things. The company is now a valuable company, and he benefits from that, because when it wasn't valuable, he was the one that was going to lose everything. He put everything he had into those companies, and he would often reinvest if it paid out to him, because he's like, no, it's still in the building phase or whatever. That's entrepreneurship. That's the entire way this country is built. In fact, Billie Eilish could not have amassed her wealth without somebody creating a record label or a record distribution label or the pathways like that when they sacrificed. And they're billionaires. She wasn't calling out the record labels, the heads of the record labels, the people that help her make her money. No, she wanted to call out Elon. And where was Bezos in that conversation? I think she's pretty chummy with him because her perfume sells almost exclusively on Amazon. It's not exclusively. I said almost exclusively. So yeah, it's just, I think when you're that young, you should just kind of keep your mouth shut until you've learned a little bit or lived a little bit. And people will be like, oh, she's traveled the world. Yeah, she's traveled the world as a multimillionaire. So again, travel the world. I don't know why I can't speak this morning. Travel the world as an average person. Let go of your security. Go around the world. See what it's really like. But you won't do that. Just like you won't give up your house that has a mega wall around it. In fact, I think they said it has 3 walls around it. But yet, America doesn't need to be securing its walls or its borders. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, this has been Blah, Blah, Blah with Nick B. If you want to learn more about me, go to www.nickbnation.com. You can find all of our shows and subscribe to everything and learn more about me up there. Hug your loved ones each and every day, because you never know when the good Lord will call them home. For every dark night, there's always a brighter day. And life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last. I'll see ya when I see ya. Y'all be good.
The proceeding was produced by Look Butterflies Entertainment. All rights reserved. Unauthorized reproduction or rebroadcast in whole or in part without the express written consent of Look Butterflies Entertainment is strictly prohibited. Check our website for shows, ways to listen, and all of our social media links. To learn more, visit www.nickbnation.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Look, butterflies.